Hey, Team GrindKing. I want to say before we get going here to always please like and subscribe our channel. It really helps us out a lot. All right, so in this locker talk, I'm going to go over some changes that were made from the original locker that we showed in the first locker talk. And there's been a little bit of delay as far as when these are coming out. Not much, but this turned out to be a really good thing because it allowed me to make some changes from the first prototypes, and some of the comments we were getting were addressed. So fortunately, I had just enough time to make some last minute changes, and these changes are quite significant in how these lockers will ride, and also it will also they're improvements overall. So I'm going to go over these improvements so you can see what was changed from the original prototype lockers to the production lockers, and these are the actual lockers you'll be getting. So if you look here at this original locker, it had these like kind of almost like horns, and when we were testing it, we realized that it might hinder some people from locking into the wheel. It was almost too, it was a little bit too dramatic and too radical and high. So the lockers that are in production are they're less horny, if you might say. They're more of a lower. Here's a, you can kind of see this is the same size orange one. You can kind of see the difference in the grooves. The grooved area is more mellowed out, so it's lost those really big horns at the end, and you can kind of see it. It'll allow you to still lock into the groove, but you can slide into your wheel better, especially good for flat ledges. So that was one of the changes. Another change was, if you look at the hole pattern, the where the mounting holes are, some people said that they were afraid it might shift because they'll get worn out, and you might be able to, in a slappy, if your trucks are loose, it might slide into the next hole. You can kind of see how the new one has been pinched a little bit more, so that's less likely to happen. So we've really separated those holes more so in the new version. Also, if you notice, it's more round than the first prototypes. It was kind of still too flat for me right here. It was a little bit too, um, it's not enough roundness here. And there was a time back in the day there were these things called cell blocks, and they had this really round thing which helped strengthen your deck. And the concept was back from the, I think they were the 70s or 80s, early or late 70s, and it was, people had riser pads, and these cell blocks would make it so that it distributed the weight and pressure of the impact to a wider surface area, which protects your deck. And so that's what these trucks do, and you can see this is a little more rounded than the first prototype, which I think is a better design. Also, the nut portal got a little bit smaller, which I think looks better. It's a little tighter in there. And the actual area where the nut goes in there, we tightened that up a little bit. I was afraid it was a little too loose on this one. And then there's a really significant improvement in the bushing seat area, which most trucks are like our early prototype, which have a relatively, I guess the bushing seat is sort of like, the bushing just kind of sits in there like this. But if you turn it over, they just fall out. There's a little bit of slop in there. So it's not, in my opinion, these are what I'm going to really be pushing these as they're high performance trucks. So just like you have high performance racing cars and motorcycles, what makes a high performance, to me, in these type of applications is how tight the tolerances are. So the more in a high performance car, the bushings and things where all the linkages go for the steering, it's very tight, and you don't want any wiggle room. You want everything to be really solid and tight, so the response is really, it's you get a better response, a more immediate response. If you look at the new locker, the tolerances of the bushing area especially is much tighter. So here, let me take this one off here. And this is a subtle change, but these subtle changes, especially for skateboarders, you know, a little thing can make a big difference. And if you look at this setup here, unlike the last one where, you know, the bushing could just fall out, this new area of this bushing seat, I call it a deep, it's got a deep capture. So you can push your bushing in here and you can see it doesn't fall out even. It's so tight, which is a good thing for responsiveness. So you want that deep capture bushing seat, which also lowered the kingpin. So, and not that the kingpin was already high, but now the kingpin on these new models, the new locker, is really low. And what's really cool about the next thing I'm going to talk about is the loose truck mode. Now, one of the things about the locker that I think is there's just all these things have changed. There's so many innovations that we're kind of developing our own lingo, and some of the lingo has changed since the first video. We're kind of still massaging that, but what I call the this when you put the loose truck mode, that's a term we're going to use. The loose truck mode, you have this top bushing alone, and you can see here there's a little play in there. And unlike the other one, which was, it wouldn't even fall out, this is designed to be loose. It's a smaller diameter bushing. So you, in loose truck mode, you want a little bit of that wiggle room. So, and what's really, this is one of my favorite parts in loose truck mode, is that the middle bushing stores underneath. Here's this top one. This one stores underneath here. You can stuff it through the nut portal, and it actually is designed so it holds the kingpin up so it doesn't just slide up and down, because in loose truck mode the kingpin can be loose, and that's an important thing, to have that wiggle and have it so it wiggles like that. That's what makes it loose trucks. And having this bushing in the bottom here, stored in there, for one, it's a good place to store your bushing, but two, it keeps that kingpin from falling down, so it allows that wiggle room, which is what you want in loose truck mode. Okay, so the next part of this, some of these improvements here, is the area right here, which is these, I call them wings. I made the wings a little bit stronger, a little more. Let's see if you can see the difference. There's a slight difference in the wing. This one ended about here, and this one goes further to the end, just to give it that little extra strength. And, you know, it doesn't add much weight, but I figure, you know, better safe than sorry. So these are very subtle changes, but you know, that's part of our mission, is to keep improving the products. And we haven't even come out with a truck yet where we're improving it. Once you guys get this first batch of trucks and you guys give it a really good go, I want to hear the feedback, because that's going to make it so that the next generation of lockers are going to be even better. So this is just the beginning of a new chapter in skate innovation. And this next chapter includes you guys. So that's what's, to me, the most exciting, is that I'm not doing it just for me, but I want to have your input to make it so that it's stuff that you guys want as well. There is another change here. I just remembered on the new bushing. The old bushing had a kind of an angle at the bottom, but the new one is stepped. And again, this is all to make it high performance. So it's really, really, all the tolerances are tightened up, and you get this really good lock from the bushings, that they don't move unless you put them in the loose truck mode, and then it gives you that little bit more play. That, so you have the customization part of this truck is, I think, one of the most interesting things that haven't been done for skateboard trucks yet, is the idea that trucks should be as customizable as possible, because there's so many different types of skaters, and you're skating on so many different types of things, that the more customizable it is to your specific needs, the better. So that's it. I'm going to keep it short and sweet for this episode. I want to say happy holidays. We're really excited to get this new batch of lockers out to you, especially on the first ones on Kickflipper, and hear what you guys think. I think you're going to really like the way what we've done with this truck and the changes. we still want to hear more suggestions from you. So until the next episode, see ya and grind on.
Happy holidays, Team GrindKing. Skateboarding in the 90s was a vibe. Baggy pants sagging just right, boom boxes blasting hip hop, circus stash pockets holding who knows what, and suburban kids trying their best to look tough. But it wasn't just a look, it was a golden age of skateboarding, an era where the culture exploded, innovation ran wild, and the future of skateboarding was being shaped right under our noses. Boards got more symmetrical, wheels shrank, skate videos became straight up works of art. But here's the thing. While skateboarding was racing forward, faster wheels, lighter decks, gnarlier tricks, one thing barely budged: trucks. The trucks you're riding today, they're really not that much different from the ones your dad or even your grandpa used to ride. And that's wild when you think about it. That's where you come in. Team GrindKing has always been about pushing boundaries, because skating isn't about staying the same. It's about progression. So while the industry's been stuck in the past, we've been building something new. The Locker isn't just another truck, it's the next step forward. 7 new innovations built for the way you actually skate, not the way someone else skated 30 years ago. Skateboarding is hanging with your friends, finding new spots, and just having fun. But it's also deeply personal. It's about expressing your style, pushing your limits, and riding your way. That's why the Locker is the most customizable truck to ever hit the market. This isn't just hardware, it's a shift in how your skateboarding feels. And we want you to be a part of that shift. Think about it. Look at what happened in other industries. Car companies used to think gas engines were the only way forward until someone decided we can do better. Now electric cars are changing the way we drive. Same thing with cameras. Film worked, but digital took it to the next level. That's what the Locker is. It's the truck that finally breaks the loop. It's time to leave the old ways behind and ride something that's built for today, not the past. This isn't just another truck. It's a new chapter in skateboarding, and we're inviting you to join us. On December 9th, we're launching our pre-order system for the first 100 sets of Lockers. We call it Kickflipper, and you can get a chance to be the first to have it as part of your setup. All you have to do is head over to grindking.com, the link's in the bio. And on December 9th at 9 a.m., the countdown timer hits 0, and you'll get access to the pre-order page. For this first batch, we're dropping 4 colorways: raw silver, gunmetal gray, and light blue, as well as orange. And we've got 4 sizes to start with: 8, 825, 85, and 875. Here's the deal. These first 100 sets are going to go fast. Once they're gone, that's it for this tier. And they're priced at the lowest they'll ever be. If you miss out, don't stress too hard. We've got 2 more pre-order waves coming before the Lockers officially hit the market and skate shops. But there's nothing like getting on the very first drop. Donald and I are beyond stoked to finally get the Lockers under your feet. We can't wait to see the wild things you'll do with them. And seriously, thank you. The love and positivity you've shown us as we've restarted this Team GrindKing journey means everything to us. So don't sleep on this. Head to the link in the bio, hit that like, smash that subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay locked in for all things Locker and Team GrindKing. Peace out, and we'll catch you in the next one.